Hello everybody, MD Polo here. Thank you for joining me. On the table today, we take a look at the new FN High Power. Now, I'm not a historian and I don't know all the details about the history of this venerable firearm, but I'm going to do my best to give you a first look at it. This is not my gun, so I'm not going to shoot it. I just wanted to show it to you and maybe start a conversation as to what your thoughts are of this gun compared to the original, and whether it's a worthy successor to the original. We're also going to compare it later on in the video to, well, not really compare, I want to show it to you. This is not a comparison video, but I want to compare it to the Springfield version of the High Power. Different guns. I think they went at it in different ways and also very different price points. This has been safety checked, and as you can see, I'm at Range USA. This is not my gun. This belongs to Range USA. They were gracious enough to let me borrow it for the video and film at their location. So, as you can tell, I'm having a little bit of issue with the lighting and also with the sound. You may hear a lot of people in the background. You may hear shooting. So I ask for your patience with that. So this gun has been safety checked. FN High Power 9mm gun. Single action, hammer fired. The barrel is 4.7 inches and it is hammer forge, cold hammer forge, in its target crowned. Capacity on this is 17+1 metal mags. So a big difference in capacity with the original one. It comes in a cardboard box and then with a very nice FN range bag. So usable, very nice FN range bag. It comes with 2 metal mags. Come on, focus. Another thing they give you is it comes with G10 grips. And another thing they give you is another pair of grips in OD green. So pick your poison, whether you like the FDE, or whether you would like to change them out. And the aftermarket will give you other choices as well. If you want to go to the wood grips, you can do that. Let you look at it from around. The width of it is 1.35 inches. It is a heavy gun, coming in at 40 ounces. Heavier than the original, heavier than the Springfield SA-35. So my understanding is that the High Power has been NATO's sidearm for about 80 years. And the original was designed by John Moses Browning. Let me look at it here. And his idea, if I understand it correctly, if not, please correct me, is that this was supposed to be, in his mind, the evolution of the 1911. So what the next step of the 1911 was going to be. Now, he never got to finish it. He died before it was finished. So FN took it on and finished the gun. And if I got the dates correctly, that was in 1935. Spring forward to the year 2018, FN discontinued the manufacture of the Browning High Power. There's a couple of versions for that. Some versions will tell you that it was because it wasn't selling. So FN discontinued it because it wasn't selling. Other versions will tell you that that's not true, that the reason for them to discontinue the original one is because they were already planning the gun that is in front of you. And the machine, the tooling, everything they had for the original High Power was so old and run down that the amount of money that was required to fix it and to bring it up to standards to continue the old production, the production of the old gun, it was more cost effective and made more sense for them to buy new machinery and get it ramped up for this model instead of reinvesting in continuing the production of the other model. So the original High Power, the production ceased in 2018, and the one you see in front of you was announced at SHOT Show in 2022. It is 100% made in the US, so of course that's always good. Now, starting from the top, you got a stainless steel slide with a PVD hardcoat finish. The ejection port has been redesigned and enlarged, so you can see it there. You got very nice rear serrations. You don't have any serrations in the front, so it retains some of the looks. When you look at it, you can tell for sure this got the heritage of the high power, although it's not an exact copy. But no front serrations. The rear serrations are very, very nice. They're sharp, they're not going to hurt you, but they are very usable. As far as the sights are concerned, they're dovetailed in. They're metal sights. They're just blacked out front, blacked out rear. They have, both of them have serrations in the front and in the rear, and they're from the 509 series of pistols, from FN 509. So if you don't like this, any sight from any maker that fits the FN 509 series will fit in this gun. Another change that they did was they moved to an internal extractor. So you don't see an extractor out here anymore. Moving down to the frame, another thing that they changed was the beaver tail. Now you're going to see that it's got a very pretty, compared to the original one, a very large beaver tail. A common complaint, especially with people with bigger hands than I have, is as you take out pretty high up there, you've got meaty hands, they were getting a lot of bloody slide bite right here. Some people would say that they could not shoot this gun without getting their hands all bloody. So FN redesigned the grip. You got a nice undercut in the front. You got an extended beaver tail back here. You don't have a safety, a frame safety here, a memory pad for like you do in the 1911. So I like that. The back straps, there's no back straps. It's just the way it is. This is not replaceable. The grips are replaceable. Nice texture on the front. Nice texture on the back as well. You can see the front here. The back. Yeah, to me, it's a very comfortable gun, and my reach to the trigger is perfect. And since we're here, let's take a look at the trigger. And like I mentioned earlier, it's a single action trigger, and it's breaking like glass at 4.5 pounds. Your reset, a little bit further out than I'd like, but it is so smooth, and immediately you're at the wall. There's no mush, there's no extra travel. Very nice trigger. Is it as good as a custom 1911? No, but for what it is out of the box, it is a fantastic trigger. It was very consistent, pulling at 4.5 pounds. I'm letting you look it around. Now looking at the controls are ambi. You got your slide stop right here, and you got your safety. And your safety is very positive. It's you got it on both sides, so you got ambi right out of the box. It's a very nice safety. You can carry it cocked and locked, no problems there. Another thing they did that was positive in my book is the takedown lever. They did it very similar to a 509. So you don't have all the complications, if you want to call it complications. I don't like cleaning 1911s, so this to me is very welcome. All you do is flip this down, and the slide goes right off. That's it. In the old one, you had to remove the pins and do different things. This one, just lock it back, flip it down, release the slide, and off it goes. Now, any complaints about this one? Well, maybe not necessarily complaints, but there's some things you need to know. And that is that between the original FN and this, there are no part compatibility. You cannot exchange parts. Most holsters that fit the original one are not going to fit the new one. The magazines are not compatible. It doesn't have an accessory rail, and that retains the look of the original one, but also it didn't come up to cut. So for something that was brought to the modern version, modern world, there are some things they left out that if you're already going to redesign the original one, why not go all the way and make it more ready for the 21st century? I can do without the pick rail up here, but I would have liked to have seen it optics ready. Also, the grip panels from the original one, if you got nice wood grip panels, they're not going to fit this. The grip module is a little bit more stretched out than the original one. Now, if you're going to look at comparing, and like I said, this is not a comparison video, but here I have the Springfield Armory, the SA-35. And yes, this has been safety checked. Now this is going to be more in line to what the original Browning high power was. You can see the difference on how the beaver tails are done. You can see the shape of the trigger guard. They both retain the no serrations in the front, just serrations in the back. You can see here you got the external extractor. Here you've got an internal extractor in the new one. So if you want a version that is more, it's a newer production, but it's more like the original high power, then you're going to probably want to go with a Springfield. The Springfield is not ambi out of the box. The safety is not as positive. Okay. The mags fit flush, 15 rounds on the Springfield. The reset is almost not existent. You don't feel it. There's no, you have to let it out all the way out. So there is a big difference between the triggers. Big difference between the two triggers. Another thing that FN, before I forget, that they're very proud of is in the FDE, which is not the easiest one to find, it's hard to match the FDE colors in the different type materials. But with this, it matches perfectly. The tones, the hue, everything is perfect in the matching. So that was very nice as well. So there you have it. You've got the Springfield, more like the original, and the modern version, or if you want to call it the modern version. Now, what is it going to cost you to get into this type of pistol? Well, yes, almost, not quite, but with tax and everything, you're pushing $1,300 for the FN, and you're pushing $730 for the Springfield. So not quite double, but it's pushing it up there. And whether it's worth the price of admission on this, that's going to be entirely up to you. Once you start spending $1,300, $1,400 on a gun, there's a lot of options that kind of ring the bell and make you look, you know, squirrel, you look the other way. But I really like it. It's very comfortable. It feels great in the hand. It's top quality materials. So I'd like to know what you think, and please educate me if I missed something, if I misspoke something about the history of the FN. High power, please do. I'm here to learn, and here to learn from people that know a lot more than I do, and that's you guys. So let me know what you think about both of these guns, and whether you'd like to see more of an in-depth comparison. Please let me know in the comments section below. As always, I upload videos every Friday morning, when I can on Wednesday mornings as well. You can find me on Instagram, although Instagram doesn't like me at all. And I started to explore Twitter. So now you can find MD Polo Gun Channel on Twitter, and it's at MD Polo TV, like television, MD Polo TV over there at Twitter. So if you'd like to stop by, that would be great. Once again, I look forward to your comments. Thank you to Range USA for letting me film at their location and for letting me borrow their guns for the video. As always, thank you very much for stopping by, and until the next time, God bless.